Hey there, welcome to the virtual table. So I wanted to. This is a game, I actually own the board game, and I've never covered this game. Uh, there's a lot of reasons for it. The biggest one is that the game is quite fiddly. It takes a lot to set up and tear down, and to do any coverage of this. Most people just do like one or two scenarios and then they call it a day. But this game is Gloomhaven, and they just released 4 days ago the 1.0 version, which I've been waiting for a long time. Like, I pre-purchased this quite a while ago, but it was always missing the actual board game campaign, which is now here. And I very much want to try this. I've not played this. I've played the board game, of course, but I've never played the electronic version. This is on Steam, and so we're going to do this together. And so I figured, why not? Let's at least dive in and see what it's like, get some first reactions, and see how it compares to the board game itself. Now, I've been having audio issues with my recordings where my voice is just way too loud, so I'm trying to do some stuff here that might, I don't know. Like, what I'm struggling with is that when my microphone is in front of my mouth, it's way too loud. When I move it too far away, then of course it sounds muffled. I'm really struggling with getting this just right, and I don't understand why. It probably has to do with my headphones and how this software is working. But I'm going to try moving my microphone at least a little bit away, and we'll see how this goes. I don't see my voice being quite as loud in this situation, so let's. My apologies. I'm still trying to get just the right settings here. So if I click on campaign, you can. We definitely at least want to do normal. I don't want to do easy. Eventually, I think I want to move to hard or insane, because if this is just like the regular board game, even normal is easy. I know some of you might be thinking, where are you coming from? Normal is easy once you know what you're doing. It's been a long time since I've played, so we'll call this. What guild name should we call ourselves? Why not, right? I mean, it's the name of the channel. So each mercenary manages an individual amount of gold, or I guess I can't uncheck that. I was going to say I actually like the idea of a party gold rule, but I guess I don't get to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit confirm.
Welcome to the harsh lands of Gloomhaven.
Boy, that seems loud. I need at least 2 mercenaries in your party. Alright, so we're going to get to pick 2 mercenaries, but I need to deal with the sound on this game. It's way too loud. Let's move the music volume way down. Everything else. We'll do that. And graphics looks good. Video, I don't know what else to mess with, so I guess I'm on fantastic graphics, folks. Okay, alright, so here's what I remember. First of all, this looks fantastic. I know I haven't done much at all, but just like the map itself looks fantastic. This, of course, in the board game is completely aesthetic and doesn't mean a thing. I have to pause real quick. Okay, I am back. My apologies there for pausing the video and making it a little bit disrupted. Okay, so it says you need at least 2 characters. Here's been my experience. Like, even when I solitaired this game, and I know I never did any video recordings of this, but I played a full campaign, myself and one other buddy of mine. His name was Scott. And what we did is we controlled 2 characters each. And then we had other buddies that wanted to play with us but couldn't make the time commitment to play every week, which is what we demanded. We're playing every week no matter what. And so what we did was is we let, anytime those other buddies were available, we'd let them control one of our characters. So sometimes we'd have 4 people playing on any given week. But on the next week, if somebody couldn't show up, we controlled both characters ourselves. That upset some of our friends because we weren't willing to like slow down and wait for them. But to be quite honest, that was the only way to physically finish a campaign like this. Those friends were not reliable. They're great friends. We enjoy playing games with them, but they're just not reliable. And to play this game the way it was meant to be played requires 4 reliable people to I mean, it took us like 3 months, I think, to complete this campaign. And we had a couple weekends where we would like start at 9 a.m. on a Sunday and go all the way till 9 p.m. Like we'd play for a 12-hour marathon session. There's over 100 missions in this game and so many things that get unlocked. And we unlocked just about everything. The only thing I didn't do was solve the decoder ring thing that came with the game. I had the first edition, and then what I did was I sold it to one of those unreliable friends. I sold it for like $50, and then I kickstarted the second edition, and so I have a completely unpunched copy that's still here to this day. It's unpunched, the second edition, because the second edition had the nice hit point wheels, and there was some nice upgrades to it, and I had also personally printed out some extra combat decks just to speed the game up. We had no advantage of like the apps that exist today that help you manage certain things. I have played this game quite extensively, is where I'm trying to go. Now, with that being said, it's been easily 3 years since I've played this game. I know for all of COVID, I haven't even seen Scott for all of COVID because of COVID, and that's been easily 2 years now. And then it was at least another year before that. So at least 3 years, maybe even 4 years since I've last played this game. So as much as I have extensive knowledge of this game, I have I'm rusty. I forgot a few things. The things I distinctly remember is how the hand management works, and it frustrates me, but it's the core of the game. And I don't like how the hand is your hit points, stuff like that. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump in, and I need to pause one more time, but I'll get ready to go in 1 second. Okay, so let's try to make a 4-player party is where I'm going. You can obviously do a minimum of 2 players, which is why it's saying you need to select at least 2. But with the way the magic mechanic works in this game, I'll be honest, 4 players is the way to go. It's also, there's more player interaction, although it's not very much. But it also lets you just experience all the characters that this game has to offer a little bit better. This game does require you to not get emotionally attached to your characters because they retire. It has a neat little mechanic where even after they retire, they will show up again in the story from time to time. I think it was very innovative for its time. I think other games like I've never played Tainted Grail, but I've heard that it has like similar kind of things. There's other games that have like taken what this one did and has maybe made it better. But this is like, the original Pandemic. I mean, before Pandemic existed, co-op games weren't quite the same. And, and after Pandemic came onto the scene, there were so many games like Defenders of the Realm, etc., that did what Pandemic did, but just did it better. But without Pandemic, you wouldn't have them. And that's how I feel about this as well. So, let's see about getting a character going here. And it looks like we're going to have to create a mercenary. And my apologies again, I got to pause one more time. My apologies. My kids, who are most important thing in my life, they keep texting me. And so I have to always respond to them. And so my apologies there. Anyways, Here we go. Let's create a new mercenary. Yes, so with the way this game works, if you've never played the board game, you start with 6 characters unlocked. Obviously, we're only going to get to pick 4. And then there's a whole bunch more that you're going to unlock as the game progresses. And the wonderful thing about this, it's a legacy game. And legacy meaning that the components change. And there's literally boxes of characters in the game that have like notes on them. Do not open until you're told. And so you have no idea what's in them. All you see is symbols, which they didn't even show. It would have been a nice touch if they would have showed the symbols here, but they didn't do that, and that's okay. But as you can see, there's quite a few. I can tell you that some of my favorite characters are not here. So there's a few in here. And then let me also get this out of the way. I'm going to spoil things. And so this game has been out for many years, and if you are somehow a person who doesn't want to be spoiled on this game, get out of here. Just, like, why are you here? And why haven't you already bought this game after 4+ years of opportunity to buy it? I mean, seriously, I do not want to see comments about how I'm spoiling this game for you. I'm playing the game. If you don't want to be spoiled, then go. I didn't ask you to come here in the first place. So we're going to get that out of the way. So with the rest of this, it's just really where I was going with this is my favorite character are in the summoning category, and there's basically 4 summoners in this game that I actually did a solitaire playthrough of this on the most extreme difficulty with the 4 summoning characters, and was able to like steamroll it. It was so easy. I was actually getting bored. And so I know that's like a big spoiler, but anyways, I gave you the warning, so off we go. So we got to figure out who we're going to do here. Okay, so it's telling us to choose a starting character, explains they have unique abilities. Alright, so this should be the Brute. Okay, so I'm actually I'm just reading this real quick. I'm very impressed with the graphics. This is really nice looking. Okay, so what I remember about the Brute, like it says low mobility, I didn't enjoy that part about the Brute. The Tinker was who I picked the very first time I played this game. And to be quite honest, I didn't care for him very much after it was all said and done. But I did stick it out. I made it work. And the Tinker does have some abilities that were nice. And the healing, of course, is nice. The Scoundrel is, I think, my absolute favorite. So we're definitely going to pick her. Scoundrel has an amazing ability if you use it correctly. Cragheart, I ended up really liking. We both skipped this one in our first playthrough. Like, we never played Cragheart. I think eventually somebody got him out or something, because when you retire, you pick a new character. But in my second playthrough, I tried Cragheart for a while, and I really do like him. This is the Rat Mine Thief. Wasn't the best of fans of it, but it is a summoning character. So, is it one of the 4? I can't remember. I have certain summoners that are in my head, but I don't remember if this was one of the 4. There might be 5 summoning characters in the game. The Mine Thief is one of them. But the thing is, the summoning that the Mine Thief does is very minimal compared to the other ones. And then the Spellweaver. Sounds like an awesome mage. It was actually a very mediocre mage, but it'll probably still be one of the 4 that that I will choose. But no matter what, we want the Scoundrel. It's an amazing character, the Scoundrel. Oh, you get to name them. Gosh. See, when you're doing a YouTube channel, I try not to use super personal names because it's bad enough I'm already using my name for the channel. And I guess everybody knows my kids by now. My dog's name is Mindy, so we'll do Mindy. She's pretty scoundrel looking, especially when she wants a treat. Alright. Complete 2 scenarios in a lingering swamp, then unlock Fading Lookout to follow it to conclusion. And then kill 1 flame demon, 1 frost demon, 1 wind demon, da da da. Personal quest is the main reason for adventuring. Once this objective is complete, the Merc will retire. When mercenaries retire, they no longer be a playable character. So, I don't remember where the lingering swamp is, and this is the part where looking at the game board would have been very helpful. And then you have to unlock Fading. So at some point in the game, this is going to happen, of course. I don't know if it happens right away or if it's going to be a while. That's the part I don't remember. This one I remember actually can be a while, because you may see flame demons early, but it'll be a while before you see one of every type. So, interesting. And then, of course, you unlock something. And this is actually where those symbols come in. So, for example, you unlock this type of character, or you unlock this type of character. I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is a mage, a heavy magic user. And this one I'm not quite sure in my memory, but I want to say it's a cleric type. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll do this one. So you have to pick one, of course, and that was the quest I chose. And Mindy has joined the party. And alright, so click on the second character slot, get another character. So that's what we will do. New Mercenary. So you could actually have a party of 4 scoundrels, which, actually I would recommend that you do that, because I think that would be awesome. But it doesn't make for a very fun game in terms of exploring all the content. And so anyways, I really like Craighart. He does everything that the Brute does, but better. So let's go ahead and pick him. And, oh gosh, who does he... He's a very ugly looking thing. He looks like Nancy Pelosi. But maybe we should not be so political. So we'll just, for lack of a better thing, he's craggy. So we'll do that. Alright, so this, yeah. This is a really good character. They both are, actually. Okay, so this one you need to have, like, items equipped. And you can control, like, you just don't take that 4th item, for example, and you can play this character all the way to the end, if you wanted. And this one, you just have to complete 4 scenarios. 4 scenarios is not very much. I sort of like Craig, so I would have liked this quest if I had somebody else, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the harder one. Yep, Craigy's in. Alright, time to do some adventuring, but I want more. We're going to get 4 people here, so let's go... Oh, come on, are they not going to let me pick 3 and 4? So now they're telling me I need to gear up. Oh, come on, guys. Each mercenary has their own stash of gold. I definitely like... I mean, it's just beautiful graphics. They took forever to finish this game. I know they messed with the stamina. So, minor stamina potion, you get to recover up to 1 of your discarded cards. Why am I hovering over stamina so quickly? Stamina is the best thing in this game. Everything else is second nature. Now, I'm not saying that they stink, because these other items are good. Don't get me wrong. With the Scoundrel, having this leather armor is good. There's nothing wrong with it. But for the money, the stamina potion is the best. And what it is it lets you get back some of your discarded cards. And I know, if you've never played this game before, discarded cards are how the scenario ends. If you basically get to a point where you can't play anymore, and then you're done. and you basically get exhausted, and you either have met the objective of the mission or you fail. And if you have a stamina card or stamina potion, that lets you get a couple extra actions in. So that's the part that makes this very good. So we definitely want one, is where I'm going. So I'm going to buy the item from Mindy. It costs 10, and she still has 20 left. Now, I think one of the things they changed is she can't equip more than one of these. That's what I think. Because I think before we were like, yeah, let's have multiple stamina potions, and so you have to level up your character to even be able to get the second spot. So there's that too. So I think they might have locked some of that stuff down. Then here, these are when you level up, you're going to get perks, and there's attack modifiers. And sometimes when you the things that make a character good or bad is you want to look at the modifiers that are available when they level up. Some characters have really awesome abilities that you can add to their combat deck. Because here you can see there's a ×2 and then there's a nothing burger, right? And then it's basically evenly distributed. This is a basic combat deck. But if you were to level up, and then you can see the pips here is how many of them you have. So when we attack, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 cards that are going to have a +0 modifier, which means that whatever you attack with, that's going to dictate the damage. There's going to be 5 times where you're going to get a -1 to your damage. And so as you level up, you're going to do stuff like, see here, this focus. You get to replace a -1 card with a +1. And you can see over to the right that the pips for the -1 goes from 5 down to 4. And then for the +1, it went from 5 up to 6. And so as they level up, they do get skills, yes. They'll get cards that maybe do different things. Those cards don't always necessarily make them better. They sort of do. It's debatable sometimes. But the thing that truly makes them better is the improvement to the combat deck. And so, and just to back up some more, like when you attack something, you always draw a card from your combat deck. So this is like a modifier that's drawn every time you attack. And so it's very important to modify this deck and get rid of all the bad cards and replace it with nothing but good cards. And there's some pretty amazing characters out there that do some really cool stuff here. So, I'm yawning, I apologize. And then of course you have some passive attributes, etc. But this is all, perks are, you get, you can see you earn perks by completing battle goals. Every time you earn 3 perk points, you get to pick one. So battle goals, we're going to get those probably after we're finished buying stuff here. And then those battle goals, you have to do them during a mission. So they're sort of like side quests, if you think of it that way. But anyways, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the combat deck is an extremely important part of the game. And these are the abilities you can... These are the cards I have. You do manage a deck of cards, and let's see here. Yeah, that's getting back to that. So this is for purchasing. So now we got to figure out, okay, I got 20 gold left. What do I want to get? Leather armor. Next 2 times you are attacked, the attacker gains disadvantage. This is really good at keeping you alive, but usually we want something like this. You get to add poison to an attack. The poison dagger for the Scoundrel, very good combo here. The cloak of invisibility, though, also extremely good. Now, which one's more important? So, like, if you look at her cards here, you're always going to see a top and a bottom. When you play these cards, you choose either the top or the bottom. You don't get to do both. And then this 86 is their initiative. And it has a really nice explanation there, which I do appreciate. So you can default any of these where you ignore the text. You could just do an attack 2 or a move 2, right? Where you're just ignoring the text. Sometimes, like down here, this burned that this card will not go to the discarded pile after usage, but rather the burn pile, from which cards cannot be recovered by resting. So you can't rest. The stamina potion wouldn't work. So basically, once you use this bottom thing, then it's a once and done. Then if you use the top one, though, it would go into the discard pile and you could probably get it back again and again. This is a really good one, but the one I'm looking for here is Backstab. So you can move 6 or add +2 to attack. That's not it. This one adds poison. Throwing knives. Is it Sinister Opportunity? Yeah, that one requires an element. So there's one skill that the Scoundrel has. And here you can see they can make themselves invisible. So I don't need to have that cloak to necessarily be invisible. Once you do, though, it gets burned. So it's a once per mission thing. But on your next attack, while invisible, you double the value of the attack. And this is what I'm saying. This is an insanely strong thing. And it's a once per mission skill. So like I said, once you use it, it's gone. It's not like you get it back. But you need to go invisible to make that happen. And then, of course, you need the this dark element also. Oh, I'm sorry, no. This puts dark element onto the board. We'll talk about that later. The way magic works is you got to play cards that put magic out there, and then you can use other cards that consume the magic later. Okay, so this here is so powerful. So like when you fight against bosses, doing double damage against the boss it's what makes this character so good. But you got to set it up. You have to like know what you're doing. You have to make sure you're invisible first. You have to remain invisible, and then you get to do double the attack. So I think I'm going to go with Poison Dagger. The Cloak of Invisibility also makes you invisible, which is good. I think I want both at some point. I might want leather armor. Like here now, you can see the hide armor adds 2 -1s to your combat. So you may not necessarily want that all the time, but we're going to... this is good for ranged attack. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Poison Dagger. I think that was made for the Scoundrel. Alright. Can I... yeah, because I want a 4-player party. I don't want 2. So let's do... we probably should do the Spell Weaver just to get a magic user class out there. Yeah, we'll select that class. You're a little ugly looking too. I give the designer credit. He made his own lore, but I'm not real enthralled with any of it. You look like a female version of Spock. I mean, I hate to like call them like this one Spelly, you know, because she's a spell weaver. You got crystals growing out of you. Like, nothing's jumping out at me here. Let's try this. Morata, which some of you may recognize is the Spanish word for purple. It's a female version of purple. So let's try that. Kill 20 elites. Complete 3 scenarios in a danger forest. Ooh. I know this one's good. I don't know which one's better, but we'll go ahead and do this one. And yes, I'm very happy that they're finally letting me add. Oh no. So I created the character, but it's not. That is a little frustrating. I do want a four-player party. Okay, you really can't go wrong. So the thing with the Tinker is the Tinker does not have a lot of damage doing abilities, but does have a nice ranged attack. And of course can heal. Uh, the Mind Thief, like I said, does some summoning. It's actually not very bad at all. And to be honest, the Brute's not bad either. The Brute has some really nice charge abilities where you can charge through enemies and do damage to them, that way. Which one do I want for the fourth? I normally want this one, except we sort of have only one character that is meant to be up front. The Brute is quite good at taking damage. We'll do the Brute. The Tinker and the Mind Thief will just have to wait. And we'll call him Kroll. And complete 3 Crypt Scenarios. Complete a scenario in each of the following areas. Oh, haha. That particular character is a decent one too. We'll do Crypt Scenarios. There we go. Kroll's in the party. Alright, I still don't know what I need to do to add them. Why are they forcing me to stick with just 2 people? I don't know. Okay, so Craggy. It may not hurt to have something like leather armor or something for him. Now, what he has is he's got an interesting, he uses nature magic. So he's not a pure fighter type class. He does have some healing ability. And then he has the ability to take objects in the room and manipulate them and make them explode, stuff like that. But it's very scenario specific on how helpful that can be. His combat deck it's pretty normal. I don't think there's anything that's going to be different with these starting characters. They all have the same combat decks. I think every character starts actually with a basic combat deck. It's not until you start leveling up that it matters. All right, so what do we want here? To get back to the main thing. The armors, maybe not so much. The helmet. When attacked, you get to basically nullify a ×2 that's used against you, because the enemies have attack combat decks as well. And there is a ×2 out there for the enemies. So this would nullify that 1 card out of 30. It's very situational. These Eagle Eye Goggles, when you attack, you gain advantage. Now, what does advantage mean? It means you draw 2 combat cards. So let's say you drew that Nothing Burger card that causes you to do no damage. When you have advantage, you draw 2 of them, and you get to pick which one you want. So you can take the better of the 2. Eagle Eye Goggles are very good, but that would take up all 30 of this gold, and now you can see why. This was a really nice one to have with the Tinker, because the Tinker had a really nice range attack, and you wanted to make sure that that attack met its mark. And so the Eagle Eye Goggles are very, very good. Invisibility, not so much. One of these 2 might be nice. Let's look at the shield. When damaged by an attack, gain a shield 1 for the attack. So basically, that's worded in a weird way, but basically shield just means you absorb a hit. So it doesn't hurt you. It would block a hit, which is not a bad idea at all. The piercing bow, of course, good for range. During your melee attack, you get to add a stun to the entire attack action. But you see, you lose the card. Not for the game, but for the mission. So it's a once per mission thing. You get to add stun to your attack. +2 moves, never bad. And then, of course, being able to jump is also good. But no matter what, you need stamina, as I said. So we need to make sure we get that in place. And now that leaves us with 20 gold, which does limit what we can get, because we can no longer get the bow. The extra movement is not the worst thing in the world. But the leather armor is not bad either. Actually, the heater shield's not bad either. Yeah, we'll get the heater shield. Alright. So, in the equipment panel, Mercenaries will unlock new power abilities as they level up. You can edit the deck of cards. You take to a dungeon. There's a lot to gain from city streets. You can participate in city encounters whenever you're in the city. If you ever find a quest that looks too hard or on one you repeatedly fail, the Temple of Great Oak can grant you a blessing. Yep. The first quest location is marked just north of Gloomhaven, and more will appear. You can embark on a quest with up to 4 mercenaries. Yep. Okay, so now they're going to let me add. There we go. Let's get them added here. Alright. So I know that's a city encounter, which I do want to do, but let's get everybody purchased here. So stamina potion for Morata. Now Morata is the cleric type. It does have the ability to like protect themselves from damage. So what else do we want to get? And there's no harm in just keeping your money too. So that might be an option here. But I think the one of these shoes would work. Add jump to the movement. Now, what jump does is like there's going to be terrain that takes multiple movement points to go over, and if you have jump, that means you can just move right through it like it's nothing, or you can jump over enemies because you can't move through enemies. I don't believe, if I remember correctly. And then of course, +2 movement points is just awesome. And then these are cards that you exhaust. So every time you rest, you would get the card back. So it's a more than one per mission. You get to use it multiple times. You know, I don't know which one's better. I don't remember. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the extra movement points, because sometimes you really need to move in this game, and that would help. Alright, and then crawl. As I said, you need to buy stamina. And I'm gonna, for Kroll, we're gonna get a heater shield for him as well. He's basically a tank, and he's a tank in every sense of the word. I mean, when you look at his skills and abilities, it'll have tank as well. Okay, so everybody's decked out. Here's the world map. This is our first mission that we would do, right? And it's telling you what kind of enemies are there, and I don't know what I need to do to make... I don't know what that question mark means. I have to figure that part out. But there's more stuff to do here. So the Temple of the Great Oak, this is real quick and easy. You can give 10 gold, and you become blessed. So then what they do is you gain 2 additional ×2 attack modifiers in the next dungeon. So the Mercenary adds that to their combat deck. It is possible you'll never draw the cards, because it's in the combat deck, and if you don't, you know, if it's at the bottom of the deck, you'll never use it. So it is a little hit and miss, but it never sucks. Let's just put it that way. If you have 10 gold, to get 2 extra ×2 modifiers is really a nice boon. And of course, every mercenary would have to give 10 gold, and nobody has 10 gold. Like I spent it all. And then lastly is the city encounter, which we're going to go ahead and do. Now this is like a choose your own adventure. There's usually never a battle here, but it is pretty awesome because some of these do change the game, and like it'll add extra cards to the city encounter or things that might happen to you later. But anyways, I just wanted to, like they said, it's always a good idea to do one, and I tend to agree. So, on a trip to the new market, you see a curious sea chart prominently displayed in a Valrath merchant stall. I gotta learn my lore again. Valrath is one of them. I think it's the brute is a Valrath. I see this interests you, he says, holding it up, taking great care not to damage it. I've been told this map will lead you to a location of untold riches. Wondrous beyond anything you've ever seen. The Valrath gestures grandly with his free hand, and his smile grows wide. How can you say no? So you could try to bargain for it, but I have no money. So I don't think this is going to end well for me, because I don't have any money. So I could just refuse to deal with the merchant, which stinks, because I do think the map is actually a good thing to get. I have no money, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And I think what happens is it just gets shuffled back into the deck in that kind of situation. Whereas if you did buy the map, then it would actually come out of the deck and possibly unlock another mission. So that's just the kind of stuff that happens in this game a lot. And of course you need to have money to be able to do it. Alright, so I'm 41 minutes in. I need to pause one more time. And then when I unpause, we'll go ahead and do a mission here and see just how badly I get beaten on this. And, I forgot to mention, like, you basically have to equip cards. So there's 3 cards here that are not equipped. And so I have to unequip one of these, like let's say I don't want that one, to get that one. Does that make sense? So the one thing, if you are managing 4 characters, is you're going to have to do this for each character, which does increase the preparation time between missions. But typically I like certain cards, and certain other cards I don't. And once you get happy with the cards you have, then this isn't something you do very often. But before we start this first mission, I do have to go through it. So I might do that. I'm going to pause the video recording and just do some of this thinking so you don't have to sit here and watch me think. And then I'll explain to you what I decided. Okay, I'm back. And I only modified one deck, and that was Craggy here. Well, actually, I modified 2, I think. So what I did was I got rid of Unstable Upheaval. This one does damage to any allies that are nearby. In both cases. And so that means it's situational on when you can use it. And, you need to be very careful. So what I did was I chose Forceful Storm instead. And this disarm ability is one of the best abilities in the game, if you can disarm the enemy. So I definitely chose to do that one. And it's really not a bad option at all. And then for Miranda Morata, I'm a little worried about this one. I got rid of Ride the Wind, which is the only time you can loot. So I removed her ability to be able to loot in this game, because I don't think there's any other one that does loot. And instead gave her this one, which gives her extra heal, and she can summon somebody, which the summoning is pretty awesome. Now, what does it mean to not be able to loot? Well, she's not going to be able to get extra gold. She's not going to be able to accomplish some missions where you actually have to loot. Which means you would then have to, maybe pick a different card. The Frost Armor I remember using a lot. This one is an awesome card. It's just really hard to pick a different card to get rid of. So I may have made a poor choice, but we'll find out. One other thing. I know if you've never played before, I recommend that you just go with whatever it starts you with. This is experience, and it does a really good job of trying to explain things to you, but it's still going to be confusing as all get out. This recover is what's going to allow you to... It's like a stamina potion, in a way. And then here you got There's different status things like immobilize, disarm. You're going to get very familiar with those before this game is over. Um, and then, there's symbology like this persistent. It lasts indefinitely or until the conditions are met. And then the experience is extremely important because that's how your character levels up. And you can see here you need 45 experience to level up. It sounds like a lot, and it is. But you do get more, I think, experience the harder the difficulty level. I can't remember. But let's stop dinking around. We're 45 minutes in. And so it says now might be the good time to go through the cards. Make sure they're battle ready. Okay, so we're going to go up against a bandit archer who, they're painful. The bandit guard, not so much. And then the living bones, depends. And then, of course, there's a hidden reward in this particular mission. It's the very first mission, so it's not going to be that bad. But I will say this. When you're new to the game, you're going to lose this mission. Not because it's hard, but because you're going to stink at the mechanics. You have to be very efficient with your card play. And that's the thing I'm actually nervous about. It's almost like riding a motorcycle after it's been 10 years since you last rode one. Like, you know how to ride one, but you're still nervous that, am I going to remember everything? Am I going to, it's that whole thing. So that's how I feel, but let's go ahead and get this going.
So when Jaxera, a Valrath woman,
Sorry,
this thief has taken some important documents, says the red-skinned merchant, her tail whipping about in agitation. I don't care what you do to him. Just bring back what is mine. Based on Jaxera's description, it was easy enough to knock around a few alley thugs and get a location of the thief's hideout. You don't find yourself as a mercenary way out in Gloomhaven without knowing how to crack a few skulls. So your target is the Black Barrow. Sounds like a lovely place.
Okay, the fact that they have the voice acting is an extremely nice touch. Alright, and this encounter thing, I think, always happens between missions. So the fact that they're showing you moving along and then all of a sudden something happens, that's all just for dramatic effect. You're traveling through a small wooded area. You find a group of Inox warriors fighting a band of armored humans. With all the commotions, it's hard to discern more details, but the humans look like guards from Gloomhaven. You're not sure why they are out here fighting the Inox, though. Help them fight off the humans. Help the humans. So you're basically, without any knowledge of what's going on, you have to pick a side. I'm going to choose to protect Gloomhaven, which would be the guards from Gloomhaven, right? The humans look like guards from Gloomhaven. I'm going to use that as my clue. We're going to protect Gloomhaven, and it's probably going to be the dumbest choice, but we'll find out. Oh, and look at this. So we gain +1 reputation, which is why I wanted to protect Gloomhaven. It influences the cost of items. Good deeds are often rewarded. So with your arrival, the Inox retreat back, and they casted a hex. And no matter what we tell those savages, they're convinced we're going to take over their forest. So we got cursed. Cursed is not good. That goes into your deck, combat deck as well. Excuse me. And I can't remember what happens when you draw a curse card, but it's not a good thing to draw one. So these curse cards are going to go in, and I think it counts as a nothing burger. So like when you draw a curse card, you instead of doing regular damage, you'll end up doing none. So now we got to have 2 of those in our deck. I'm pretty sure that's what that does. And of course, a bless card cancels a curse card. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Easy enough to find. A short journey past the new market gate, and you see, moving closer, you see the mound is formed from a black presents a worn set of stone stairs leading down into the darkness. As you descend, you gratefully notice light emanating from below. Unfortunately, the light is accompanied by the unmistakable stench of death. You contemplate what kind of thieves would make their camp in such a horrid place as you reach the bottom of the stairs. Here, you find your answer. A rough group of cutthroats who don't seem to have taken very kindly to your sudden appearance. One in the back matches the description of your quarry.
Okay, so basically, before you're entering a dungeon, we all have to choose a battle goal. Now remember, battle goals, if you complete them, is how you unlock perks. And perks are an amazing thing in this game. You definitely want to get perks. It's a secret objective, so if you're playing with multiple players, you're not supposed to reveal what they are, but I don't think it ever mattered. So this one, for example, take only short rests instead of a long rest, or be the first to kill a monster. I'm going to go ahead and do the take only short rests. Loot a chest, or have 3 or few total cards at the end of the scenario. This is probably not too bad, but for my first time playing this in a couple years, I'm nervous. So I'm going to go loot a chest. Kill 1 or more elite monsters. Never allow your hit point value to drop below half your maximum during the scenario. I don't even know what the maximum is, but we'll try it. Loot no gold piles or chests during the scenario. Take only long rests. Now this is an interesting one. I kept the loot card, didn't I? Yes, I did. I was contemplating getting rid of the loot card with this guy to take one of these, which would have made that, like, perfect. See, but look at this one. You get 2 perk points instead of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. No looting for Kroll. Okay, so there was one other thing I wanted to do before we got cracking here. I lost my thought. I completely lost my... Oh, that's it. I wanted to look here. So we took a curse, and those curse cards do go into our deck somehow, and what I don't understand is why they're not showing here. So it should be in that, or the curse only went on 1 player. Let's see that. Maybe I missed that it was only 1 player that got cursed. Nope. That's what I wanted to do, though. I wanted to look up the curse. And actually, you can see it there. Here we go. You've been cursed. It adds a curse ×0 card into their attack modifier deck. When drawn, the attack deals no damage, and then it's removed from the deck. So I don't know why it doesn't show up here, but it's basically another one of these, and that's really nasty. That's what I was trying to get at. But yeah, let's go ahead and get our butts trumped here.
Take care of these unfortunates, your target says, backing out of the room. You can vaguely make out his silhouette as he retreats down a hallway and through a door to his left. Well, it's not every day we get people stupid enough to hand-deliver their valuables to us, grins one of the larger bandits, unsheathing a rusty blade. We'll be killing you now. Joke's on them. If you had any valuables, you probably wouldn't be down here in the first place.
Okay, so one of the things I can tell you right off the bat. In the board game, you can see the entire map. And they, of course, don't show you what's beyond this door. This is actually better, because you can discern information by seeing the whole map. I mean, yeah, we don't spawn enemies on those other rooms when you see the whole map. You could have just 1 player look at the map and, assemble it as you go. But to be honest, it's very painful. And if you're playing solitaire, of course you see everything. But this is awesome, because I don't know what's beyond this door. One of the things I do remember, because I've played this scenario, this very first one, a couple of times, is that this might be the room where we have faced the most enemies. So I don't want to hold back in the beginning. But the problem with holding with so here's another aspect of the game. There are certain cards that you play them once and then they're gone. They're called burn cards, right? They're out for the mission, and you'll get them back on the next mission. But these cards are your stamina. And remember when I said you run out of cards, you just the mission ends. Now there's ways you could rest, which lets you recover some of your discarded cards, but you don't recover the burn cards. And these cards are your action points in the game. So let me just make it very simple for you, because I know a lot of you just want to see this game get played. But if you play your burn cards early in the game, in the mission, then you have less overall actions in the mission. If you save your burn cards, you could use it for like just a regular attack or just for the movement or something else. Then when you rest, you recover more cards back because it's going to be in your discard pile, and that will allow you to go longer between rests. So if you shorten your hand, you're going to, right here you can see every character, by the way, has a different number of cards they start the game with. If you shorten your hand, then you're screwing yourself in some ways. Now, this particular scenario has a lot of enemies that are going to pummel us right in the beginning here. So you're okay. It's okay to maybe burn your load a little bit on this one. Now, one other thing. Because we're playing with 4 characters, we're having the max possible enemies. If you were playing with 2, this would be greatly reduced. These guys with the red numbers are elite, so they're going to punch a little bit harder, and they're going to be a little bit harder to hit. And I absolutely love how it shows over here the combat deck for each enemy. Wow, that is awesome. That's something you don't get to see when you're playing the game. You do know what the combat deck has in it. I mean, it doesn't take long, but it's something that's just shuffled on the side of the table. So it's very nice to see this. And then when you curse them, it's going to affect their combat deck. Now, you can see innate here is a shield 1. And I don't know if I can... Yeah, I don't know what I can do to get that to come up. Maybe if I click... Here we go. Innate shield 1. I wanted to pull up like a little help of explaining what shield means. Shield 1, I'm pretty darn sure means he's going to absorb the first damage that he takes. Now, what we're doing here is we're selecting our action cards. So we're going to select 2 cards. So you burn 2 cards every round. 1 card is going to be used for the number. So see that initiative number? You're going to use that to determine who goes first, who goes second. So when this character will act using the value from the first card of the pair selected in the case of player characters. And then the second card, you're going to use it for... Oh no, I apologize. You pick 2 cards because you're going to get to do 2 things. 1 card, you're going to use the top action. The other card, you're going to use the bottom action. You don't have to decide which actions you're using right away. You can wait to see what happens. But you're stuck with those 2 cards, though, no matter what happens. And so, I apologize. It's been a while. So, like, for example, I don't need to move 5 spaces. Very close proximity with these guys. However, the Scoundrel sitting way back here can't hit anybody from where she's at. So she needs to move at least something to be able to hit these guys. Now, you could bank on the fact that they're going to move first. And if they're going to move first, then you could just wait for them to move. So you need a initiative, which I believe you need a high initiative number, because I think a low initiative goes first. I wish it would have explained that. And then, so I believe that a 4, for example, means that she's going to go early. And then an 86 means she's going to go late in turn order. So, like I said, you pick 2 of these. And you don't even have to, you do have to reveal the number of one of them. So one of them is going to determine your initiative. I'm pretty sure. I'm really surprised they didn't have tutorial for this. So if I pick something that's going to attack, let's say this one, Venom Shiv. This has to be somebody who's adjacent to me. And nobody's adjacent, so I'm screwed. Now, let's say I pick something else, and I was hoping to use this bottom thing. Well, what I could do instead is just use it for the move, too. So I can move one, let's see, 1, 2. There we go, I can switch where they're starting. This is important, because now I can go 1, 2, and now I'm next to 2 people. You see that? So with a base movement of 2, I can at least attack 2 people. And so now I'm not in as much trouble. And so for example, this guy, I need to do a similar thing, right? I need him to be within 2 movement of being able to attack. Now her, I don't care about so much. In fact, I want her to stay behind. So the one thing I am going to switch is I think it needs to be more like that. So, okay. All right, what are we going to do? That's always the biggest challenge. What we could do is not move at all and just do throw knives. And if I throw knives, you can see here I can attack with a strength of 2, so it means I'm going to do 2 damage. I'm going to hit any target. I'm going to hit 2 targets at a range of 3. So 1, 2, 3. In fact, I only have 1 target in a range of 3 right now. So, but let's say I want to do that one. And I'm going to move 3 and poison an enemy. Let's say I'm going to do both of these. Now I'm going to... Apparently I have to do them in the right order. So I want her to go later. I don't want her to go first, so I chose the higher number to show up here. So if I would have picked 10, she would have gone first, and I don't want that. Actually, does it matter? You know what? I am going to do it that way. I'll go first with her. Alright, let's move to this guy. Okay, we need to go up. Disarming is good. Stunning is also good. And then, of course, we need to maybe shield. So right here, on the next 6 sources of damage from attacks targeting you, gain shield 1. That's really nice. This one is also very nice. See that sweeping blow? Trample. There's a couple good ones here. That's a nice attack right there. And it hits 2 items and it gives you an experience point. I definitely like that. So then I would need to move. So that one obviously has a move on the bottom, but I want to use the top attack there. So I don't necessarily want to push, but it looks like I may have to. Although I got to move 4 here. That's a bit much. But okay, so here's why I would play this card. Overwhelming Assault. So, I meant to say, yeah, Overwhelming Assault. See, this attack 6 is awesome, but it's a burn card. I don't want to use that right away. So instead I want to use the bottom right away. Pushing enemies is not, that overwhelmingly nice. But I'm going to do that and then do this as well, which lets me do an attack. So I'm going to move, and then I'm going to attack 2 guys that are adjacent to each other and gain an experience point. So that's what I'm going to do, both those together. Now her, I want to attack from far away, so let's see, what can we... I want to summon an ally, this dude. So I'm going to choose this right away. Let's do some summoning. I told you I really like the summoners in this game. I probably should have chose the Mind Thief for the same reason, but we're going to go ahead and summon that dude. And then I just want to attack something. So here you can see I can attack something that's 3 range away and gain 1 experience for every enemy targeted. And then it also puts flame on the board. This is great, but it's a burn card. So let's maybe see if there's something that's not quite so birdy to start. Here I attack 2 with a range of 3. And if there's any element on the board, I can consume it to add +1 to the attack. I don't think there's going to be an element on the board, but I don't think I'm going to be able to be that perfect. This is another burn card. I don't want to use burn cards right away. Yeah, this is permanently burned. Cannot be recovered by the burn pile by any means. See, this lets you recover all of your burn cards. Never mind. So I can play all my burn cards and then play this and recover all the burn cards. And then, of course, it's permanently burned, which means I can't recover this card. But that changes the landscape. So now we're going to just burn like the dickens. And yeah, I'm going to attack 3 targets here. Like so. Yeah. Now let's go to him. So here we can attack 3 at range 3. And all allies and enemies adjacent to the target suffer 1 damage. But see, that's the target, not you. This one is a range 2 attack that just hits everybody in the range. I really like this one. But let's see. What else do I want to... Here, I can create a element, right? And then this one consumes the element to add +1 attack. So there's some things like that. Now, does the element show up immediately? That's the part I can't remember. I wasn't sure that it did. Let's try it, because we got to find out. So I wanted to do the Dirt Tornado. And come on, I was just looking at it. That one creates... So do I really want to go second? There's a part of me that isn't sure. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and go third. And I apologize, but this really is a crucial aspect of this game. Now, this is automatic. This is something you use. So we'll have to just remember to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and end my turn. And then now they're going to get to go. And this used to be the cumbersome part of the game, was doing the enemy AI. And it just feels so awesome to have a computer doing it for you. Okay, so these are the cards that were drawn. So every Bandit Guard Elite's going to do this. Every Bandit Guard's going to do that. Okay? And the reason why they're drawn is because you can see here, these are the order. Right? So we're going to go first, and then second. Right? Then they go third. And then these guys go 4th, and then 5th, 6th. Okay, so this guy here is going to move 1 and attack with a strength 4, which is pretty bad. Okay, the Bandit Guard is going to move 2 and attack with 3. This is information that we have to help us know how best to do this scenario. So, for example, these guys with the innate shield, they're going to be harder to kill. They have 9 health, you can see here. These guys have 6. Very, very difficult to kill, especially if they have an innate shield. However, you can see they're going to punch a little harder. Sometimes you'll see, like, this guy's going to heal. And if you see that he's going to heal, then maybe you're going to target him first and kill him before he gets a chance to go. You know, so that's all I'm trying to say, is that this information is available. And you know about it right away, even though you get to go first in the initiative. So that's the reason why the low initiative numbers are pretty valuable sometimes. And then there's times you want them to go first so you can pummel them later. So it all depends. Okay. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and continue. So it's the Scoundrel's turn. And so, like I predicted, I need, I have a range 3 attack, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 3, and I'm going to poison an enemy, and I want to poison this elite guy. And I believe poison, it adds +1 attack to all their attacks against the poison character. So anybody else who attacks that character gets +1 to their attack. And then, of course, they have to use a heal ability to cure the poison. So the poison just it basically cancels out their shield. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to move 3 and then poison. So I'm going to do that first. And the 3 I'm going to do is to here. And I'm going to confirm the movement. And then I'm going to poison this guy. And then you can see a little poison symbol show up on him. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. I really love it. And then I can recover up to 1 of your discarded cards. This is interesting. This used to be 2, I believe. They did change this. So what I could do is I could do this to recover this special mixture card. Is really what this is saying. Do I want to? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I get the card back. Oh, it says choose a card to recover. Sorry. I was getting really confused there. Okay, now here's the thing with range attacks. If you attack somebody that's adjacent to you, you get disadvantage, which means you draw 2 combat cards and you take the worst of the 2. So you don't want to range attack when you're next to people like this, which is something I didn't think about very well. However, I do have one that's 2 places away, so I'm going to at least get to do that. So here you can see the purple means it's going to be disadvantage. And then this is who I want to attack for sure. So I'm going to attack this one. So that's 1, right? And they're even showing, like, this is the overall health of the character. And I'm going to do 2 damage, which would bring it to here. However, the combat deck always modifies that. And, what did I just do? Okay, combat deck could modify it, +1 or -1 or whatever. And then the other one, I'm going to attack at a disadvantage, which is what this says. So you're going to draw 2 modifiers and use the worst one against him or him. Since the elite one is poisoned, I'm going to attack the elite guy. So let's try that. And those are my targets. I'm going to confirm them. So then we're going to go ahead and do this one. And I drew a +1 against this one. Boy, that went a little fast. How do I see what cards I drew? Or here, you can see I drew... Oh my gosh. So with this first guy here, I drew a -2 modifier. So I didn't do any damage to this first guy. And then I drew a 0 and a +1. And of course it went with the 0 because I had disadvantage. So here you can see I did 2 + 1 is 3. Modified by 0. Shield blocked 1. So I did 2 damage to this guy. So this guy took no damage at all because I drew a -2 modifier. That stinks. But that's the game. I mean, the game works like that. And then anytime you attack melee, I can always do this to add poison. Alright, I'm going to end my turn. I don't think that you can poison somebody more than once, by the way. Okay, so the brute, I want to do this very much, so we're going to go ahead and do this. So I'm going to move 2. And then I'm going to skip the rest of the movement. And I guess I could have pushed somebody, but I didn't want to push anybody. And no, I'm not going to do that. And now I'm going to go ahead and do this cleave. And you got to make sure you do it right. You don't want to miss. So I'm going to hit both of those guys for 3 damage. One guy's poisoned. And I'm also going to get an experience point for this. That's what that is right there. So let's go ahead and do this. So the plus zeros means I drew 2 0 modifiers. Boy, that comes up fast. I do like that you can at least look it up here, though. And so, yeah, I did 3 damage to this guy, and then I did 3 damage to this guy, even though he has the +1, but the shield, you know. The poison cancels the shield, basically. So I did 3 damage to each, and now I can recover a card. So I'm actually going to use it, and we're going to recover that Leaping Cleave card. So now we end his turn. So now the Bandit Guard gets to go. And that 4 damage hurts. Hurts a lot. So might need to do some healing. So now, you can choose to take the 4 damage, or you can burn a card, which means that you don't get it anymore. So if I burn a card, I take no damage. Oh, this is a tough one. But let's say I burn a card. For example, I can burn Quick Hands. The thing is it's gone. And remember how I told you when you rest, you don't get it back? But that could save me from taking 4 damage. But see, I got a heal card here. I'm going to go ahead and take the 4 damage. Now, I am going to use this. And I'm going to receive the damage. Now, that was the problem with going first. These guys, all they could do was move 1 space, and they couldn't attack anybody. So, by her moving up like she did, she's taking damage from everybody. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the damage. Alright, so now we have Crygard. And the heal can heal somebody else. So I could change my mind and say, okay, I want to heal her. But it has to be a range 2. So I have to be here to be able to do that. So if I do move 2, and I move to here, he takes a damage. Because see, all adjacent allies and enemies suffer 1 damage. So everybody would take a damage. So I could do that, which causes my guy to take damage, but instead I'll do that. And yeah, they're going to take damage. So both of them take a damage, and Suffer, by the way, ignores shields. Right? So I like that heal card, so I'm going to go ahead and use my stamina. Let's get that card back. Don't be afraid to get cards back, folks. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. And see, this lets you consume the leaf. But see, the leaf is not on the board yet. Even though this created a leaf, it's available for a single character use for the rest of the current round and the whole of the next round. It's available to use after the current character's turn. So I could have just read the description. So it's not available to be used right now, but that's okay. And it is a range, so I'm going to go right in here to this empty spot and hit all 3 of those people and confirm. So I drew a -2, -1, and a -1. So I drew awful cards. So -1 attack modifier, -2 attack modifier. Look at this. I drew a -1 and a +1. But I ended up getting the -1, I guess because I'm at disadvantage. Even though I targeted this spot back here, these 2 are next to me, so I had disadvantage. I don't know if we ever played that rule right. But yeah. Then we muddled them. So muddle is that character will gain disadvantage on all of its attacks. It's removed at the end of their next turn. So this guy And these two guys, when they go next time, at the end of their next turn, the muddle will go away. But disadvantage, of course, means they're going to draw 2 cards and take the worst of the 2 as well. Alright. Okay, so here we go. I only have 1 character that's 3 away from me. So this is not going to be as useful. That stinks. I was going to say I'm going to summon... Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to summon the ally. Alright, and the ally has its own AI. You don't get to control it. And what it'll do is it will move 2. It has 2 health, and it will attack with a strength 3 with a range of 2. So, it basically will move as close as it needs to attack attack somebody. So now if I do this, I'm burning my card. I could normally target 3 guys, but because of where I'm standing, I'm only going to be able to target 1. This is a very awful use of the card. I could choose to do this, but we need to get some damage out there, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I did 3 damage because I had a +1. And if you'll notice, his shield did not work against that. Or no, it did work. I'm sorry. So I did 4 damage, and then the shield took up 1 of them. Okay. And here we go. I was not able to use a stamina potion because I used 2 things that had burn condition on them. So that was the end of the round. Now, remember, we could long rest, short rest. You have to have at least 2 discarded cards to short rest. You burn a card at random, so one of the cards just gets burned. And if you long rest, I can burn any discarded card and recover everything else. So your deck does get shorter every time you rest, but you do heal 2, and you refresh all of your spent item cards. That's the other thing. So, very good descriptions, by the way. If you've never played the board game, I can see how this could be confusing, but this is very well done. Okay. And I think they have a tutorial mission. Alright, she's in trouble. She needs to heal. So she needs to go early, right? Because she's next to these 2 jokers. So what's her healing card? I know she has one. So this one would let her heal 3 self. So then let's try to move her away from them. So for example, if I choose... I mean, backstab is a nice one, but let's say I choose this one. I can move away, right? With a 5. I'll get to go first, and then heal myself. And that's just... It's not really a great use of actions, but I do need to do that. Very much. Need her to go first. Okay, so let's go to the next guy. Alright, I want to use that same action I did before. I got even a nicer one there. But let's cleave again. But then what do I want to do for the bottom action? I can attack 2. So I'm going to just attack twice. And I'm going to go ahead and make him go a little earlier. And now we got her. I believe this guy goes at the end of her turn. This is an attack 2 with a range 3, and it uses a element. It also has a heal 3 with a range of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to do it for the heal. And we're going to heal our Scoundrel. And then we're going to go ahead and attack with the Frost Armor. And then what do we got left? Mr. Crag here. Okay, so he's next to somebody. Several people, in fact. This is a really weird one, where you attack people on both ends of you. This one has a range of 3, and you'll attack 3 characters next to each other. Now, this is showing up because the leaf is there. You can see it over here. So This element can be used for the rest of this round. So we got a fire element and a leaf element. So let's make sure we use that leaf. So avalanche is a really great one. But what do I want to do for the bottom? Let's see. Add +2 to all of your melee attacks this round. And that's a melee attack. I think that's a good combo. So let's do that. And let's switch it so he uses the smaller number. Alright, let's try that. And there you can see they both chose 35. So he's going last. They're going to move, and this guy's attacking with a range. And then, actually, they both are. So, really glad Scoundrel's going to move first. We're going to move 5. 1, 2, 3. I think their heal was... Oh, hold on. Her card that she's using is a range 1. So we need to go right next to her. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and move all the way back. And then we're going to heal 3. Oh, skip movement. Then heal 3 self. Boom. I know it feels like a waste, but it had to be done. She took a lot of damage. I mean, this guy took some damage too, but I think he'll be okay. Scoundrel's turn is over. Oh, Mystic Ally went first. Now, Mystic Ally is not going to close... Like I said, the movement only happens until they're within range. So, Mystic Ally, of course, will stay. And then here, you can see I got the heal 3 range 1. And I'm going to do that. And get her healed up all the way. And then we're going to go ahead and attack. And we're going to consume any, and we're going to consume the fire. So that adds +1 to the attack, which should kill this guy, assuming I don't draw a nothing burger. I drew a -1, that punk. So he stayed alive, and yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and use one of these. So you can see the burn pile. I'm going to go ahead and get back the... Tough choice. She has a battle goal to not take any damage, or not to lose any health points. But I think I'll take the heal card. Okay, her turn's over. Now we got this guy, who we're going to go ahead and do this attack against these two characters. Although I could do these two just as easily. We'll go ahead and do these two. And this one I drew the Nothing Burger, which I think was his curse card. That's what makes it even worse. Yeah, I drew the ×0. So I did no damage at all to him. Then we're going to go ahead and do 2 damage to something. And I'm going to go ahead and attack this guy. The Brute's in trouble. You can see this is their battle goal. So here he drew a ×2 card. So burn 1 available card or burn 2. So I'm going to just burn a card. That avoids physical damage. I don't know what the difference is between burning 2 versus burning 1. I don't remember that. But let's just burn 1. And we'll burn his loot card. So he's going to to take 3 damage, but we'll block one of them. See, now you can see he's only taken 2 damage. Okay with that. That one, we just received 1. He got a +1, but we took 0. That one was 4 damage. See, this is the problem. You keep burning cards, you're going to lose the game because of that. I'm going to go ahead and take the 4 damage. And the 1 damage. And I'm just going to hope that I can heal later. Alright, so what was I going to do? I'm going to do this. Adds +2 to all attacks. Then we're going to do this. Consume the leaf and attack both of those guys. That was a lot of damage. See, now this is the loot, right? So if you stand on this, you can loot those, that gold. And I think you have to do a loot card. Well, that's just one thing at a time here. I think you get to loot the gold if you're standing on it. And if you play a loot card, you can loot something that's around you, or like open a chest or something. I gotta think about it. But now, here we go. So I could rest, which is not a good move right now. So if you, on the next 4 attacks, targeting enemies that are adjacent to none of your allies, you get +2. That's really good. My issue, though, is I need to move again. Although I like this one. I can pull 2 with a range of 3, because I don't want to use the invisible yet. I don't want to use my my awesome card yet, so I'll go ahead and do that. And this is an awesome card as well, but I don't want to use it. And maybe we'll do this one. Yeah. And let's go to this guy, who's in trouble. So he's got to have a healing card. I know he does. Right there. Heal 2. Range 1. We also need to shield him, which is with that shield 1 self. And then you can see here, this is a, it lasts until the end of the round, which is always good. But, and like this one here, you could disarm somebody, which means they can't damage you. They basically lose their attack if they're disarmed. They spend their whole turn picking up their weapon. Obviously I need to heal myself. Retaliate 2 is anytime he takes damage, he punches back. Which would have been great that last round. I should have been thinking a little bit more, but that's part of being rusty with this game. Okay, we definitely want to heal. So that's the bottom action. So what do I want the top action to be? Pierce ignores shields. So if that elite guy was still alive, we could pierce him. But I believe the elite guy they're both dead. All we have left are 3 of these guys in this room. So the pierce is not quite as helpful. So we'll go ahead and do, yeah, disarm a guy. I think that's a good time to use that. And we'll switch, we'll do disarm first. Alright, so now we got this one who can heal. I think I can heal 4 at a range of 4. So I definitely want to do that. And then of course I could heal 3 at a range of 1, or just attack. My issue is if I heal him at a range of 4, what else am I going to do? I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 away from both enemies. Now this one is a range 4 attack with a burn. Range 2. Range 3. We'll go ahead and do this. And, oh. And that. this guy. We're going to test our theory about moving here. See, I get retaliate if I, next melee attacks, I get retaliate. It's never a bad idea. Oh, I can heal. There's loot. Yeah, we'll go ahead and move to here and see if he just picks up the gold in his location without using the loot action. Now, the loot action, it'll tell you, allows a character to pick up every gold token and treasure tile within range. So it allows you to pick them all up. So loot 1, for example, would loot both of these. Or you could just stand there, and I think you loot the one you're standing on. That's what I want to test. I probably should use loot 1, because this is actually the perfect time to do it. We could test the standing there thing some other way. This will kill this guy, though. I'll move and kill him. Yeah, we'll do that. And then... that is the loot. Let's attack somebody. That's such a weird attack. We'll go ahead and do the weird attack. Alright, so this is a little... oh no, there is an elite guy. This guy's still alive over here. So what they're going to do is they're going to shield themselves and then attack melee with poison. Both of them. I'm trying to remember what this symbol means. I know it means something. But anyways, neither of them are going to move. So if you're not standing next to them, they won't attack you. But they will be harder to hit. And of course they're going with a 15, which means they're going to go before these two get to go. So, yeah, that's just how it works. Okay, so we got the Brute, who is down to 1 health. And of course, we want to heal himself. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to disarm this guy, which means that he won't be able to poison us. Because here's the deal. They only poison you if they actually can cause damage to you. So just attacking you is not enough. And I'm also realizing I'm an hour and 40, so I probably should wrap up this video and continue on the next one. But I want to make sure my audio is right. I'm still nervous about that. Let's try to at least clear this room, and then we can get going here. All right, so let's do this. We're going to attack this guy, and we can only disarm him if we actually hit him too. That's the other key thing. And we got a +1 damage, which is even more awesome. Okay, so a disarmed character cannot perform any attack abilities. And then, of course, it's removed at the end of their turn. So remember, these guys aren't walking. They're not moving. And they're going to shield themselves, yes. So they'll be harder to hit. But they're only going to attack anybody that's next to them. So this guy is attacking nobody. This guy's disarmed, so he will attack nobody. And then these two will attack nobody. We're actually going to go a whole round where they're going to do no damage to us. And part of this game is taking advantage of those moments. And some people will be like, well, that makes the game too easy. It does, but that's all part of why the cards are designed the way they are. The designer was brilliant, and there's a reason this game is rated so high. But let's move on. So now we got this earth element here, and yes, we got our person now who... oh no. Oh no. Actually, we're fine. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy. I'm pulling them to here. And pull rules, you can't like pull away from you. It has to be towards you. And the reason I said oh no is I didn't want to move this guy next to my characters because then he would damage us and poison us. But this is the one that's disarmed. So this is perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and poison him to boot. And we ended up killing him. So a lot of good disarming him did. So we're going to go ahead and end the Scoundrel's turn. So he just added another shield. That's what they're all going to do. And none of them can attack. So Mystic Ally just killed one. And now we got our person here. And we wanted to heal him. So we're going to do that. And then this one would be a range 4 attack, but there's nobody alive. So what we're going to do is just use it for the base attack ability. And then skip the attack. So we don't lose the card. And then Cragheart here. We were going to move to take some gold. We still can. But I'm going to just use this to do basic movement like this. So we're going to move here. And we're going to go ahead and heal. Oops. We're going to go ahead and heal. End the turn. Yep, and he picks up the gold. So yes, the loot one picks everything up. But see, the thing is I need to not loot any gold with this one. So that's the thing. I got to be really careful I don't loot any gold. But here we go. New round. Back to full health. I can pierce his shield. But I got to be next to him. That's the issue. This one, I can move 4 spaces and I do 2 damage attack against everybody I move through. That's a really awesome one. And then this one would let me attack 3 guys. They're both good. The stun is not bad either. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. What do I want to do with her? I don't want to recover my burn cards just yet. I do need to move. So I may have to use one of these just to move. This is only a range 2 attack, and I don't have flame. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for the move. And then this one for the attack. I could do that for the move. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, reviving ether for the move. And then this for the attack. And I'm okay with waiting. And going late. Alright, so now we got Crag here. He's got a range 3 attack. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That's another range 3 attack. Okay, I like the idea of looting with him, but then I need something else to do. So destroying an obstacle is great, but there's no obstacles in this room. Oh, I do have a range 5 attack here. So yeah, I'll loot and do a range 5 attack. Looks like I'm even going to get to immobilize them, so that works. Alright, I'm really far away. 1, 2, 3, 4. do have a loot card, but that doesn't do me any good outside of that. So I can do backstab to move. And then of course I want to attack. Well, this lets me move 2 and attack 2. That's not bad either. I'm going to do both of those. So here we go. This one isn't moving, and this one is also not moving. That's very interesting. I never expected they were going to do that again. So that is the cool thing. I mean, you never know what the enemies are going to do. So they're going to go first, which is even better, because they're not adjacent to us. And I'm going to pause real quick. Okay, so this wasn't quite what I was expecting, but we could still make this work. My thief is not going to be able to do any damage. They armored up hard too. Okay, so for example, Crag goes first. I was going to loot, which I still will. So now you'll see him pick up all the gold around him. He got 4. It's not a lot, but every little bit helps. And then we're going to go ahead and do this, which will immobilize one of them. And I don't know which one to immobilize, but it's whichever one we attack. This guy's got 2 shields, so we're going to go ahead and attack the other one. And I got a +2 damage, which was awesome. And you can see that there was a -1 because of the shield, so we did 3 overall. And then, of course, we gained an experience point. I'm sure that's denoted somewhere. You can see, yeah, they have shields. And then this one has the ally. Alright, so now the brute gets to go, and I'm going to go ahead and this is a burn card, which is not the greatest in the world, but we're going to go ahead and use it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then back to here for 4. So, and any enemy I move through gets me 2 experience points, and I do an attack of 2. So basically I'm charging. Right, and I did no damage to them because he had a shield and I drew a -1 card. And here I drew a -1, and he had 2 shields, so he blocked 3. The poison, yeah, so I did no damage. However, I gained 4 experience points for that, which is actually a lot. And then we're going to go ahead and attack these with a regular attack. And those shields are really helping them. Otherwise, these guys would have been dead by now. And then the Mystic Ally is going to go ahead and finish one off, which is awesome. I don't want this guy to loot. And then I was going to move 4 and then attack. So I'm going to condition myself to get ready to open a door. Okay, so I want to move to here. I do have this to let me move 2 extra spaces, but I don't want to do that yet. And how do I open a door, by the way? I don't remember, but we'll figure that out later. And then let's go ahead and consume an element. Did I have an element? Yes, I did. I have this light element. So we'll consume that and then do an attack. And boom, the room is clear. I'm gonna go ahead and end that turn, and now, so what I can do is several things. I could, like, this is something that will stay with me until it's used up. So the next 4 attacks will give me +2. I think I was planning on using it for the loot. What do I want to do? Yeah, otherwise I'm only moving 2 spaces. Yeah, I'm going to use it for the loot. And just skip the attack. Scoundrel's turn is over. Alright, if you dilly-dally in this room for too long, the game doesn't necessarily need to punish you because you're always spending cards and they're going into your discard pile. So you can see here that after I spend these next two cards, I will have no choice but to long rest or short rest. And so that's where we're at. And I want to basically do a move 6. So we'll do that and maybe get to disarm a trap, who knows. Then for this guy, I guess it doesn't matter, but we'll go ahead and do both those cards. Because it's either I'm resting or I'm just spending those two cards. Because that's all Now this one, I don't have two cards. So I have to rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a long rest, which lets me burn. I choose the card that's getting burned. If I do a short rest, it's random. And so I'm going to do a long rest. And that's my action. That's my entire action. And Craig. Move forward, jump. All adjacent allies and enemies suffer 1 damage. I would love to use that if I knew where the enemies were in the next room. But I like that one. Yeah, we'll do that. And end. Alright, so Scoundrel goes first, and I'm going to choose to move 6, and I have to choose the door. So yeah, here we go. We're going to open the door. Alright, what I love is how the room is already set up. Oh my gosh, you know how hard this is otherwise? Okay, so I chose to disarm an adjacent trap. There's no traps in here though. At least I don't see any. Can I manipulate this a little? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't see any traps in there. So what I'm going to do is move back out of the room. Because here's the deal. I need to rest next turn. I have no cards left after this. So I'm going to go ahead and move out of the room. Because I don't want her to be in the line of fire. So movement's over. And then we're going to go ahead and skip the attack as well. I could have moved up and just did a basic 2 attack against this guy. I absolutely could have. But I think... Yeah, okay, that's them. Also, they have 3 archers here, so we need to be really careful about being in their range of fire. Okay, so Brute, similar concept. This would let me get a shield 1 on the next 6 sources of attacks, which is good because Brute is my tank. And I should send the tank into this room to do some damage. This little push 2 lets you push guys out of the way, but it's especially helpful. Oh, there is a trap right there. There's a trap there. Boy, I wish they would be highlighted a little bit better. Yeah, I really do. I wish... I don't know what I just shut off there, but we'll find out. Yeah, see that's highlighting up. I don't know, is that better? I can't tell. I can't tell what I just shut off. And this is probably not the time to be messing around with this. Disable ability focused outline. I have no idea. So by default, actually I sort of like the fact that it was highlighting things in red. trap does 3 damage. So if I push somebody 2 spaces, this guy, 1, 2, he would go into that trap and then take the 2 damage or 3 damage from the trap. But I have to be here to push him, and I'm here, and the best I can muster is 2 movement points because all I have is this generic move. That is my problem. This lets me shield, but it's only going to be good for this round. I'm going to think about this, and what I'll do is I'm going to end this video, and we will cover it in the next video because I'm at around 2 hours. So thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.